Hi, I'm Matthew Cavalier and welcome back to my channel, Moments with Matthew. Oh, hi. Today I want to talk about leadership books. For me, leadership books are as effective as a self-growth book or a self-help book, as we used to call them. So I want to talk about 4 leadership books that really have shaped me both professionally and personally. So before we get started, please do click that subscribe button and the bell so that you know when my next video comes out, and do click that like button. It really does help my channel. The algorithms on YouTube definitely need that like button hit, so please do help me out. So I want to talk about 4 different leadership books that I've read, mostly dealing with communication and how to deal with different personality types. So to me, these have been books that I have read multiple times, and I've really been able to put them into effect in my own life. And again, not only personally, but professionally. So let's start with Radical Candor by Kim Scott. I've read this about 5 times already. I've even used it in my master's program a couple of times to talk about educational leadership and leadership in general. This is an amazing book. Kim Scott was a former Google and Apple executive, and she went out on her own after she really started to put together the ideas that are in this book. And it really goes along with the idea that you have to be radically candid. You cannot be so candid that it comes off as callous, and you cannot be so compassionate that it gets muddled and those who you are supervising and leading don't really understand the feedback that they are getting. This works the same in your personal relationships as well. Relationships with friends, loved ones, family members, children, spouses. It is important to be radically candid. For Scott, radically candid means that you care personally, but you challenge directly. And you need both aspects. You have to prove that you care before you can challenge, because if you challenge first, then you kind of come off as that asshole boss that nobody likes, or that asshole spouse that your wife or husband are like, I gotta go. So care personally, challenge directly. That is the formula for Radical Candor. Highly recommend this book. It's going to be down below as a purchase option for you. I get no money off of that, so purchase where you want, but I am going to link it to a good indie bookstore. Another great one, little cliche because I know a lot of people have been reading this, is Atomic Habits. The importance of small changes that you make to improve your life, both professionally and personally, can really give you a leap ahead in how you are growing for yourself and in any leadership role. And I do want to pause here to say, you may be in a position that you don't feel is a leadership role, but to me, any position in any organization, in any family, in any friend group can be leadership. You may not have the power of a title, but you absolutely have the power of your actions, your intentions, and how you deal with others. As a teacher, I consider myself a leader in the classroom. I am leading great minds, but I also empower those students to be leaders in the classroom themselves. So make sure you don't think of yourself as, this doesn't matter to me. I'm not in leadership. But you are, because you are the leader in your life, you are the leader of your destiny, and you are the leader of your dreams. So do not forget, you truly are a leader. Now back to Atomic Habits. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits with the idea of, instead of making huge changes that people cannot live with, tiny, tiny changes. Again, it goes back to the analogy I've given several times of building the ladder, only this time the rungs are pretty minuscule. They are atomic, they are so small. But those little changes over time will really help us develop who we are as people, who we are as leaders, and who we are in our own personal relationships. So James Clear, Atomic Habits. Another great favorite of mine is Gretchen Rubin. Gretchen Rubin studies happiness. She is amazing. She went from being a lawyer and a clerk, she even clerked on the Supreme Court, to being a happiness expert. She found that she wasn't happy studying law and being a lawyer and being a court clerk. She decided, what are the things that truly make me happy? And then she started studying it and writing about it. And she wrote about the 4 tendencies. This is a great personality type book. It has 4 personality types that she talks about, and those are the tendencies. You have the upholder, you have the obliger, you have the questioner, which I tend to be, and the rebel, which I also kind of skirt a little. So these are some great personality types to know as a leader and as someone who deals with all of these personality types throughout your own personal life. This is important to know because not only does Rubin talk to you about what each of these personality types look like and how they interact with others, it will also help you in ways to talk to those people who have a different personality type than you. If you have a rebel for a spouse, you're going to definitely need ways to talk to them, because a lot of the time a rebel will just say no, just to say no, just to be the rebel. And they can't help it. So it's part of their personality. So Gretchen Rubin gives us a great blueprint for how to deal with each other's great personality quirks. I bet you thought you were going to get away with not having a Brené Brown book, but this is probably my absolute favorite Brené Brown book. It is Dare to Lead. It takes a lot of the ideas from her other books and puts them into the leadership ring. Because Brené Brown owns her own company and is a leader herself, she also talks about how she implements a lot of the things that she talks about. It is important to allow your staff and yourself to be vulnerable at times, to say, I don't know, to allow your staff to say, right now, the story I'm telling myself is this, so that there's no blame, but everyone in the room can say, oh, you know what? I was kind of telling my story, myself that story. Or, hey, I understand why you're telling yourself that story. Let me explain it so that you can really understand it and you aren't telling that same negative story to yourself. This is a great way to learn how to be vulnerable, not only with your team, but also with your leaders. Brené Brown obviously does a great job. I talk about her all the time. She is my guru, but this is an excellent book for not only your own personal leadership style, but also for you to be a leader in your own personal life. So again, Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. Again, these are some awesome books that I love that have helped me. And like I said, for me, leadership books are just as helpful, sometimes more helpful, than the self-help books that we read. I love leadership books because they are direct, they are to the point, they are trying to get you to try different methodologies, and I think that is awesome. So don't be afraid to pick it up just because it's a leadership book. It truly can be beneficial in your personal life. I can attest to that because I not only use it in my personal life, I do use it professionally as well. So make sure to check them out. They are linked below, as well as my socials, so that we can continue a conversation there about some of the books that I've mentioned already. Thank you so much for joining me this week on this little book moment with Matthew to take a little bit of the place of the mini moment. Thank you again for joining me. Please do click that subscribe button and the bell to make sure that you do get the notification when videos come out, and do click that like button. Like I said, it really does help the algorithm spread the message on YouTube, and I really do appreciate all of your support. And I will see you on Wednesday for a moment with Matthew.